Shalom, Yaladim. Today, we're going to learn about clean and unclean foods using the scriptures. My name is Yahuah, and I have Bati here, my daughter. Her name is Malaya. Say shalom, Malaya.
Shalom.
And today, we have a special guest. His name is Dudu. Dudu means he is beloved. Say shalom, Dudu.
Shalom.
The little endurers are active listeners, so we're going to listen to the audio and figure out which foods are clean and unclean. Perhaps you are familiar with the word kosher or kashar for clean, but today we are going to use the word tahor, tahar. Now let me hear the little endurers say tahor.
Tahor.
Now the word for unclean is tamah. So little endurers, your turn. Go ahead and say tamah. Now let's get started.
Yashara'Al, Leviticus chapter 11. And Yahuah spoke to Moshe unto Aharon, saying to them, Speak to the children of Yashara'Al, saying, These are the living creatures which you do eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatever has a split hoof completely divided, chewing the cud, among the beasts that you do eat.
Wow, we have a cow. The word for cow is farah. What sound did a cow make? Moo. Yes, a cow makes a moo sound. Now, after listening to the scriptures, is a cow a clean or unclean animal? Yes, Khan. It is clean. Za tahor. The next animal is a lamb. The way you say lamb in Hebrew or Bari, we say shah. After listening to the scriptures, is this a clean or unclean animal?
Clean.
Let's see. Dudu, is it clean or unclean?
Clean.
Dudu said it's clean. Let's see. Wow, we have a gazelle. The word in Hebrew is zabi. A scripture fact is, this is one of the animals that we use to make shofars. Little endurers, let us know, is it a clean or unclean animal? Tahor, it is a clean animal. Now we have a goat. And to say goat in Hebrew, we say az. Is this a clean or unclean animal, little endurers? You got it right. It is a clean animal. Tahor.
Only these you do not eat among those that chew the cud or those that have a split hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the rabbit, because it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the hare, because it chews the cud but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the pig, though it has a split hoof completely divided, yet does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. Their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you do not touch. They are unclean to you.
Next animal is a pig. In Hebrew, we say chatzir. In food products, also known as gelatin. Did you know they put gelatin in food? So we gotta always remember to guard the charge, little endurers. It is a great animal to have on the farm. That's right, Bati?
Yeah.
Because it's a natural dumpster. It eats everything. Do the pig have everything listed to be a clean animal? It is tamah. It is an unclean animal.
These you do eat of all that are in the waters, any one that has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas or in the rivers, that you do eat. But all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, all that move in the waters or any living being which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They are an abomination to you. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate. All that have not fins or scales in the waters are an abomination to you.
The next animal is a fish. And fish in Hebrew is dog. I know, right? We call a fish a dog in a Bari. And we have one of the fishes here we have is a perch fish. The perch fish have the scales and fins. You see them, right? So, little indoors, is this a clean or unclean animal? The fish is tahor. Clean. Doo-doo, is it clean?
Yes. The next animal is the octopus.
And in Hebrew, we say damanun. Do the octopus have fins and scales, little indoors? Do you see any fins and scales? La. No, we do not see fin and scales. So is this a clean or unclean animal? Tama, it is unclean. We have a couple of more that's also in the sea. We have a lobster. In Hebrew, you say lubaster. We have a crab. We say sartan. And then we also have shrimp, sharim fas. And these are all modern Hebrew words. Little indoors, do you see any fins and scales?
No.
Bati said no. Wow. I don't see any fins and scales either. So, are these creatures clean or unclean? Can we eat crab, lobsters, or shrimps?
No.
No.
Unclean.
Yes, they are unclean. Tama'im. We have salmon. And how you say it in Hebrew, we say salmon. And it's also a dog, because the word for fish is dog in Hebrew. And wow, I see fins and scales. Little indoors, do you see the fins and scales? HalaluYah. So is this a clean or unclean animal? Tahor. It is clean. Which fish is this?
A catfish.
The word in Hebrew is shafamanun. I'm looking and, well, I see fins, but no scales. Is this fish a clean or unclean fish?
Unclean.
Unclean. Tama.
And these you do abominate among the birds. They are not eaten. They are an abomination, the eagle, and the vulture, and the black vulture, and the hawk, and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the seagull, and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl, and the fisher owl, and the great owl, and the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the stork, and the heron after its kind, and the lapwing, and the bat.
The next animal is an eagle. And we say in Hebrew, Nashar is an eagle a clean or unclean animal? It is Tama.
The next animal is a chicken. In Hebrew, we say ayub for a bird. Is it clean or unclean? What do you think, Abby?
think it's a clean animal. It wasn't mentioned with the abominable birds.
All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. Only these you do eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet with which to leap on the earth. These of them you do eat, the arba locust after its kind, and the sulam locust after its kind, and the chargul locust after its kind, and the chagab locust after its kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet are an abomination to you. And by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean until evening, and anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garments and shall be unclean until evening. Every beast that has a split hoof not completely divided or does not chew the cud is unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean.
Next is an insect, a cricket. We say Karagol. Oh, is this a clean or unclean animal? It is clean. Tahor.
And whatever goes on its paws, among all the creatures that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean until evening, and he who picks up their carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. They are unclean to you.
Wow, it's a dog. In Hebrew, we say kalab. Kalab. Good job, doo-doo. What sound do the dog make, doo-doo? Woof, woof. This is one of the dogs from Yashara'Al. It's called a Canaan dog. Is this a clean or unclean animal? To Ma, it is unclean to eat.
And these are unclean to you among the creeping creatures that creep on the earth, the mole, and the mouse, and the tortoise after its kind, and the gecko, and the land crocodile, and the sand reptile, and the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep.
The next animal is a tortoise. In Hebrew, we say sab. Is this a clean or unclean animal? Little indoors, do you know? Let's count to 3. You let me know. And we're going to count to 3 in Hebrew. Chad, Snee, Slash. Tama, it is an unclean animal.
And Elohim said, See, I have given you every plant that yields seed which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it is for food. Guard my laws. Do not let your livestock mate with another kind. Do not sow your field with mixed seed. And do not put a garment woven of 2 sorts of thread upon you.
Now, we have GMO fruit. What is GMO fruit? Oh, could there be unclean fruit? How could fruit be unclean?
Do it have a seed in it?
Well, no. I don't see the seed in the orange. In grocery stores, they have seedless grapes. So that means the fruit must have a seed in it then, little indoors. Is this clean or unclean? Tama. If the fruit do not bear seed in it, it is unclean. We have endured to the final section, seeded fruits. The word for fruit is farut. Now, little indoors, do you see the seeds in the fruit? You see the seed in the watermelons and the orange, tapuz, hana. Look, the grapes have seeds in them. Are the fruits clean or unclean? Each fruit is tahor. The fruits are clean. Little indoors, let's listen to the right ruling for clean and unclean animals. Shema.
Anyone who touches them when they are dead becomes unclean until evening, and whatever any of them in its dead state falls upon becomes unclean, whether it is any wooden object or garment or skin or sack. Any object in which work is done, it is put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Whatever is in it becomes unclean, and you break it. Any of the food which might be eaten on which water comes becomes unclean, and any drink which might be drunk from it becomes unclean. And on whatever any of their carcass falls becomes unclean. An oven or cooking range, it is broken down. They are unclean, and are unclean to you. But a fountain or a well, a collection of water, is clean. But whatever touches their carcass is unclean. And when any of their carcass falls on any plantain seed which is to be sown, it is clean. But when any water is put on the seed, and any part of any such carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. And when any of the beasts which are yours for food dies, he who touches its carcass becomes unclean until evening. And he who eats of its carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. And he who picks up its carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. And every swarming creature, the one that swarms on the earth, is an abomination, it is not eaten. Whatever crawls on its stomach, and whatever goes on all fours, and whatever has many feet among all swarming creatures, the ones swarming on the earth, these you do not eat, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves abominable with any swarming creature, the ones swarming, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yahuah your Elohim, and you shall set yourselves apart, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. And do not defile yourselves with any swarming creature, the one creeping on the earth. For I am Yahuah, who is bringing you up out of the land of Matzraim, to be your Elohim, and you shall be set apart, for I am set apart. This is the Torah of the beast and the birds and every living being, the creeping creature in the waters, and of every being that swarms on the earth, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that is eaten and the living creature that is not eaten.
Oh, wow. So, little indoors, that means we have to be on guard where we go out to eat. It has to be a clean restaurant. Any unclean animal cooked on an oven will have to be broken down. Yahuah gives us an increase so the little indoors can open their own grocery stores, their own restaurants, and we love to cook at home. Little indoors, we have to guard the charge. Dudabba, thank you so much for coming with us on this journey to learn about the clean and unclean animals. Don't forget to download the PDF file on the website in the description below. And also check out the audio of the scriptures. Makala. Little indoors, keep on enduring until the end. And we will see you soon on the next journey. Shalom.
Shalom.